fairly opening session. So what I mean by that is kind of thinking about opening around the chest, maybe some kind of back bending positions that enable us to find space across the chest in ways that are useful so that we can still connect to our breath. So very much about opening space to breathe during the practice today. We're also going to be doing quite a bit of kneeling work, so it would be useful, I think, if you're on a hard floor, if you have tenderness around the knees, just to have a little bit of extra cushioning for your knees. Yogi on Sea, St. Leonard's on Sea. I've never heard of that. Let me know whereabouts that is. I'm guessing it's down south in the UK, but please correct me if I'm wrong. I would love to be by the sea right now. I don't know about you, but we're about to actually be, we'll be on the coast for a little while in the next week or so, so I'm looking forward to that, just having some fresh sea air coming in. So just on that note, there's not going to be a live class next week. Okay, so I think we'll get started if that's all right. Just make sure you've got the room to move around freely. So what I mean by that is that when you take your arms out around yourselves, that you're not coming into contact with pieces of furniture, lampshades, ornaments, and same on the ground as well, so that you've actually got room to kind of move freely, essentially. That's kind of what we're doing in yoga, really, is we're setting ourselves up to be able to feel more free in our body, in our breath, in our mind. So if we can have the space for that to happen in the first place, then that's really useful. Okay, I'm just going to have a little sip of water. Take your time, get your equipment ready. The only things I would really say that you need for the practice today are a yoga mat if you have one. If not, just a large towel on the surface of the floor, or a rug would work. But like I said a few moments ago, we're going to be doing quite a bit of kneeling work. So if you think it would be useful for your knees just to have a little bit of extra cushioning, then a blanket would be really useful, or like a folded blanket. I'm just going to tune in. Absolutely by the sea near Brighton. Oh, I love Brighton. It's been so long since I've been there. Okay, so let's begin. We're actually going to start on our fronts today. Just kind of resting on our fronts in a position called Crocodile Post. So you rest your head onto the tops of your hands. Just let your elbows almost form like a tripod from your shoulders, and then tucking your chin in so the back of your neck is long. And just allow your heels to drop out to the side so your legs are tension free. And if you're just joining the live session, we're only just starting, so feel free to join in from this stage. So take a few moments to settle yourselves in relation to the ground and welcome a sense of calming, nurturing energy from the earth. Imagine how plants, trees establish themselves with roots. Just think of yourself doing that in this moment, letting go, allowing the ground to be our perceived earth. So releasing those tensions that are unnecessary in the body, and just minimizing distraction, minimizing the colours, the sounds, the light around you, and just taking yourself more inwardly to the experience of releasing towards the earth. And even with your eyes open in this position, you're withdrawing from that sense of sensory vision by minimizing what you're letting in through your eyes. And if you close your eyes, then even further it becomes even more of a withdrawal from that sense, and tuning inwardly to what you feel, coming into the sense of touch in relation to your body and the ground. And perhaps there are sounds in the distance or nearby that you are more aware of. And just slowly come to the sound of your breathing. Noticing how the breath passes in through your nostrils and then passes out through your nostrils. And if you're feeling like a sigh might be appreciated at this moment, then just sigh the breath out through your mouth and release even further towards the earth. And the breath is almost like a soft whisper. A gentle breeze passing in and out through your body. And notice whether your breath is short, whether your breath could do with lengthening in some way or smoothing the knots. What can you do in order to allow this to happen? Perhaps allowing your exhalation to lengthen, or even another sigh, just to release any further tension that may be prohibiting your breath from lengthening naturally. We'll just take a few more moments here, just allowing yourself to settle in preparation for what lies ahead, in preparation for your day ahead, or even just the next breath. In each moment, just noticing how the in-breath feels, how the out-breath feels, and then with that cycle of breath, allowing it to lengthen and deepen, allowing it to soothe and calm your nervous system, allowing it to help you release unnecessary burden, unnecessary tension in your body. So with a connection to your breath, just bring your hands alongside your rib cage. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, push yourself up onto all fours. And just aligning your knees to roughly be in line with your pelvis, your wrists in line with your shoulders. But if you have wrist tenderness, just placing them a little way ahead so the angle of your wrist isn't quite so intense. Sigh the breath out and just allow your head to sink through between the shoulders, or your chest to even sink towards the earth. And the next time you breathe in, press into your hands, activate the arms and lift your shoulder blades up towards the sky, your head away from the ground, keeping your chin drawn in. Exhale, release down through between the shoulders with your chest. Inhale, press through the hands, lengthen and lift through the back of your shoulders. And taking this once more, just finding some space around your shoulders, lifting and rising. Come back to a neutral position. Really draw the chin in towards your throat so you begin to look down or towards your knees. And then as you breathe in, lift the chin up, almost as if you're pushing your head up towards the ceiling. And then jut your chin forwards and then circle the chin back towards your throat. So you're drawing essentially a circle with your chin and just getting a little bit of extension and flexion into your neck, just gently awakening the muscles of your neck. When we start the day, it's useful to just help this area to be more at ease, because often we're working at a desk. So think about then taking one ear towards the shoulder, so you stretch across the opposite side of your neck, and then lower the head down, and then opposite ear to the opposite shoulder. So almost like you're now drawing a smile with your chin, making semicircles with your head. So like I said, before we even begin our day and sit down at a desk working at a computer, or we're driving, or in whichever way we find ourselves, it's useful just to allow our neck and shoulders to have a pleasant start to the day. Okay. Can you do some circles here? Just think about lifting the chin around, just really gently, not taking the neck into any extreme positions. A couple of times in one direction and a couple of times the opposite way. And when you've completed that, just pausing, coming back to a neutral position. Feel free to take your knees a bit more bent, your hips back, and just give your wrists a little circle here. So we're going to be spending a bit of time on our wrists, so it's useful just to get them warmed up, mobilized in preparation for further strengthening and supportive work. Now think about maybe just extending the fingers out and gripping the hands together, and then bring them back onto the ground, up into all fours. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, round the back of the body towards the sky. Inhale, release the pelvis, the spine, the chest forwards towards the wall in front of you. Exhale, draw the belly button in, stretch through the back of your lower back, mid back, between the shoulders, and then you can bring your chin in towards the end of that movement. So very much focusing on the tailbone in this cat-cow variation, where you're lifting and rising through the back of the body on the out breath, and then stretching, extending through the front of the body on the in breath. But imagine you're initiating that movement from your tailbone. So it's not really, we're not moving forwards and backwards in any way. This is upwards and downwards, lengthening along the spine as opposed to taking our body in any particular direction. Bringing yourself to a neutral position, so that's the place between those 2 points. The next time you breathe out, just take your hips to the right, take a look over your right shoulder, kind of making a C curve of your spine. And then inhale and take your hips the opposite way and look over the opposite shoulder. So just exploring a lateral extension and flexion in your spine, taking yourself out of that forward and backwards plane of movement that we find ourselves in very regularly. A couple of times to each side, and then we'll start to circle. So it's almost like you're combining those two movements. So you take your hips over, you look over the shoulder, you round, stretch through the back of the body. Your hips go over the opposite way, look over that shoulder, and then extend the pelvis back, stretch through the front of the body. So think about lifting as you circle over to one side, a little peek over the shoulder if you'd like to, and then over the opposite way, lift, changing directions. So then take yourself around the opposite way. Sounds like you're going on a little journey, having a look around you, just feeling parts of you becoming a little easier into your day. Stretching through the sides of the body, front of the body, the back of the body. Okay, let's just take that back towards the heels, stretch along the arms, stretch the arms further away from yourselves. Take a deep breath in, sigh the breath out, and then find yourself coming back onto all fours again. Bring your left knee into the center of the mat, so you're bringing it over towards the midline. So it's almost like you're making a tripod with your hands and your left knee. And then as you breathe in, extend your right leg behind you, bend the knee, and then on your next in-breath, take your right knee out to the side, parallel and down. So you're drawing a circle out, bring the leg parallel, knees in line with the bottom, exhale the knee down. So out to the side, level with your pelvis, and then down. So you're drawing a circle with your knee, just finding those openings into your hip, and changing direction. So take it out and down, and then up, activating your bottom. Out to the side, take a breath in, exhale, lower the knee. So think about the opening part of your movement coming in on an inhalation, and the closing part of your movement coming in on an exhale. The next time you have your knee lifted, your bottom activated, take your right foot over to the left. Soften your elbows, and then almost like you're lifting out your pelvis just for a few moments with your right knee. Looking over your right shoulder, or you could have your head towards the ground. Take a deep breath in, exhale, place the knee down, take your pelvis back towards your heels. Inhale, coming onto all fours. Exhale, just find the ground in your shape. If you just need to give your wrists a little bit of a massage there, just give them a bit of time to prepare. And then inhale, extending your left leg back. So find that straight line with the leg first, and then bend the knee so the foot points upwards. And then the next time you breathe out, you take the knee out to your left, and then exhale and round it down. So inhale, lift, out to open, and then down. So about 3 times in each direction. And you might notice a difference between your left side and your right side. And then we're going to change. So bring it out, up, and then down. Have I done that the wrong way? I think so. So circling in the opposite direction for another 3 rounds. And even if you did 2 or 3 and then were like, oh, actually, have I done that the right way? Just changing your direction. Until you find yourself in that open position, the knee is away from your midline, and then you take the foot almost as if it's going to stretch behind your right side of the body. And you can soften your elbows if you'd like to emphasize that a little further, either looking down or you could look out to your left shoulder. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, bring the knee in, stretch your pelvis back, pause, and slowly bring yourself upright into a kneeling position. Now if this position feels uncomfortable for your knees in particular, bringing yourself up higher as if you're standing on your knees. Okay. And just take a few moments to let that opening sequence essentially just settle within you. Notice how you feel. As you breathe in, come onto the knees, extend your arms up towards the sky. On the exhale, keeping your arms alongside your ears, take your pelvis back, stretch your arms forwards in front of you. So you're long from your fingertips to your shoulders, and then from your shoulders to your tailbone, and just keeping that length as you breathe in, coming to all fours, and then as you breathe out, tucking the toes under, lift the pelvis, and then start to extend your tailbone up away from your hands, like you're drawing a diagonal line from your fingertips to your tailbone in the direction of the sky, and then from your tailbone down your legs, keeping your knees soft towards your heels as you exhale. And we can pulse here, so let's just spend a little bit of time stretching through the back of the legs, along the calves, while keeping that length along your arms, space around your shoulder blades, so there's no tension in your shoulders. And then slowly start to walk your feet in the direction of your hands, or step, jump, however you would like to find yourself there. Bring your hands into as if you're folding your arms. Really start to soften the knees so the belly and the thighs can meet. Hands folded in your arms. And then with your bent knees, just beginning to lift through the shoulders. So keeping your knees bent, unfurling. And then you keep your knees bent until your shoulders are stacked on top of your pelvis. Your head is stacked on top of your shoulders. And then your legs can straighten. Release the arms down. Take a few moments to come to this new standing position. Your hands over your heart. Just be aware of your breath in your body. Tracing the breath from the ground through to the crown of your head as you breathe in. And then from the crown of your head down towards the ground again as you breathe out. Releasing your hands. Raising the heels. Find a point of focus with your gaze. Lower the heels down. Raising the heels. Lower the heels. Take a breath in. Raise the heels. Take a breath out. Lower the heels. So just try and find ways in which the breath can support and be integrated with our movement. It becomes more mindful as a result. We cultivate focus. We are more aware of what we're doing when we begin to integrate that mind and breath, body relationship. When you come in on the next round, have a little tiptoe around the space. Still aware that you're breathing in, still aware that you're breathing out. Maybe there's a rhythm with your movement, but maybe it's just more about connecting with your breath and maintaining that balance. Keeping the heels raised until you come back to the front of your mat, and then let your heels find the ground. Hands come to the heart space. Inhale, sweep your arms in the direction of the sky. Exhale, bend your knees deeply, coming into a forward fold but with your thighs bent, so your arms come alongside your feet. As you breathe in, step your right knee back, leg back behind you, lower the knee down. The next time that you breathe in, stretching through the front of your right thigh, and as you breathe out, release away. So inhale, find that opening into your front thigh, into your front hip. Exhale, stretching further through the front leg. Once more in this way, until we come into our kneeling lunge. Now if you would prefer to be a little more upright, the knee not so far over the heel, then just bringing yourself up and making sure you have that stable position with the knee. Otherwise you're welcome to stretch a little further through the back hip if that feels safe for you to do so, and we can lengthen with the torso. You're also welcome to bring your hands onto your knee here. If you'd like to explore that a little bit further for yourselves, take your arms up towards the sky, interlace the fingers, turning them up. You can look towards your hands and then release the arms. Keep looking into that space. Imagine you're holding a ball of light above you. So we're lifting through from the pelvis and then bringing the hands into a prayer position and stretching a little further back if we'd like to, lifting the chest in the direction of the sky. The next time you breathe out, fold forwards. Take your left knee back. Exhale again, pelvis towards the heels. Breathe in, stepping the right foot forwards, and we'll take that little sequence on the opposite side. So the exhale extends back, stretches through the front of the leg. The inhale extends forwards, stretching through the back of the leg, the front of the thigh and the back of the leg. And when we've taken that a few times, we've warmed up that space, mobilized into that space safely. Think about the position of your front knee, whether you would like it to be over your ankle or whether you would prefer it to be a little bit further back. So how does that feel for you? If you feel stable, then that's fine. If it feels compromised in some way, then you bring it back. Lifting when you feel ready. You could either keep your hands on your knee, continue to follow the breath in your chest, lifting on the inhale into the abdomen, on the exhale down towards the earth, grounding. Inhale, take the arms up in the direction of the sky, interlace the fingers, turn the palms away. Your gaze you could take in the direction of your hands, or you could simply look forwards also. And then release the arms as if you're holding a sphere, a ball above you. And then finally exhaling, bring the hands together, and then as you breathe in, just be fully aware of that inhalation. Let the breath emerge from your shape, from your pose. As you breathe in, nourishing your body, and then exhale, find the ground. Step your knees back, taking your pelvis towards your heels. Come forwards, step your left knee forwards, step your right foot forwards, come back into forward fold. The knees are soft. Inhale, lift through with the arms. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a breath in. Extend your fingertips in the direction of the sky. On your exhale, bend the knees. Bring your hands alongside your feet towards the ground. Belly comes into contact with your thighs. And then stepping your left foot back, lower the knee down. And then step your right knee back and come back onto your knees. So you're coming upright on the knees. Bring your hands onto your hips and then start to circle the hips around, taking a little exploration with our pelvis here. You take that a few times in one direction and then take it a few times the opposite way. So lifting, lengthening through the chest, take a breath in, exhale, take the pelvis down, slide your hands onto the ground in front of you, and then breathe in, you're really low to the ground, coming into the Cobra Bujangasana. So you're down towards the ground, hands alongside your rib cage. As you breathe in, lift your head away from the ground. As you breathe out, lower your head down. And again, breath in, lifting the chest, lifting the head, keeping the chin drawn in, exhale and lower down. The next time you come up, lifting, take a look over your right shoulder, and then as you exhale, stroking the ground with your nose. Inhale to your left shoulder, exhale, lower down. Nose strokes the ground, inhale, look over your right. So just taking this twice more on each side, or if you're moving a little more slowly, once more. If you're moving a little more quickly, maybe 3 times more, just taking the pace that works for you. And when you feel ready, then lowering down, find the ground, soften once again through the front of the body. Just take a moment to breathe here. Relax your arms beside you, exhaling and sigh the breath. Bring your hands alongside the rib cage. Inhale all fours. Exhale, take the pelvis back, and then rise, come back onto the knees again. So we'll take that circling action again with the pelvis, keeping the chest lifted as you breathe in. Exhale, lightly hugging in around the abdomen, keeping a sense of stability for your pelvis. And then rest your hands onto your lower back. And as you breathe in, draw the elbows towards one another. And as you breathe out, release the elbows away. So breath in, almost like butterfly wings, just basking in the sun. Lifting the chest on the in-breath, releasing on the out-breath. And then the next time you breathe in, the chest lifts in the direction of the sun, and we can begin to explore coming more into a back bend with our chest lifting, almost as if your heart, this is how I like to think of this, I like to talk about the heart when we're practicing really often. And you can almost imagine your heart is lifting in the direction of the sun. So it's not as if we're taking our shoulders back towards the ground behind us. It's more as if we're lifting our chest, our heart, upwardly towards the sun, the sky, whatever's above you. And then that enables us to find space and length along the spine. Exhaling into the abdomen, through the pelvic floor, grounding in your shape. Finally then, take your pelvis back. Let your hands rest onto the back of your body there, just pausing, a little sway from one side to the other. Sigh the breath out, extend your arms out in front of you, bring yourself upright and step your right foot forwards, and then bring your left foot forwards, coming into a forward fold. Your knees really soft. Your hands beside you as you breathe in, lift the chest, sweep the arms, extend yourself all the way up to standing. And then as you breathe out, hands come to the heart. Take a breath in, lift your arms in the direction of the sky. Exhale, releasing the arms beside you, coming back into this folded arm position. So standing, folding your arms, breathe in deeply. As you exhale, lower your chin, and as your shoulders start to round, softening the knees begin to release as the shoulders start to roll forwards, bringing ourselves back down through this forward fold towards the earth, keeping that elbows in a folded position. Bend the knees, bend the knees. When your abdomen finds your thighs, release the arms, and then continue to lower your bottom down. Now you might find it useful to take your feet a little wider. You might find it useful to come onto the balls of your feet. Your tailbone stretches towards the ground. Lift the chest. So we can take our knees wider, we can come onto the balls of the feet. You could also keep your heels on the ground depending on what is more comfortable for you. But we will do a little bit of kind of wriggling movement into the inner thighs, into the hip joints, and then breathe in, extend one arm up towards the sky, breathe out and lower the arm down. Inhale the opposite arm. You can roll onto the balls of the feet. So as you extend over in one direction, the foot on my left side flattens as the left arm goes up, and then exhale, I come back onto the balls of the feet, the heels are lifted, and then with the right side, the right heel lowers. And then lower your bottom down, find the ground. You might find it useful at this point to have a block or a cushion or even a folded blanket to go underneath your bottom, just to rise you up there and coming into a cross-leg seated position. So thinking about finding length in your spine. If cross-leg positions are inaccessible for you, bring your feet onto the floor and we will find space in between our legs in this way. So thinking about reaching through. That idea of the heart lifting. Keep the heart lifting, bring your hands onto the floor, and then start to walk your hands away from your shoulders, but with your heart still lifting. So this is keeping the spine in a lengthened, or rather not full, not extended, not flexed. So more neutral position with the spine as we lift through from the pelvis, and then we can begin to explore that fold, that flexion in the spine as you bring your elbows down, stretching around your hips. So if you're like me and you're stiff around your hips, then your head will not be coming towards will not be at the ground level, and that's absolutely fine. We don't need to have our head in contact with the ground in order for us to feel as though we're even practicing yoga. It's more about how it feels in you and being mindful of your breath, being true to what is honoring your body in this moment. Deep breath in, exhale fully, and then slowly walk your hands back towards you. So you start rising with the heart again, bringing yourself into an upright position with your spine, relax your shoulders, and then start to bring your feet together. So this is kind of one of my least favorite positions because I'm very tight in my hip flexors, in my hamstrings as well. But it's useful. It's useful for me to find space in my body where I am feeling stiff, or places that I don't normally take myself into. It's really useful to actually go there. So try this, see how it feels. Bring the feet towards you. It doesn't matter how high the knees are. And you exhale, release a little into that shape. Inhale, the chest is lifted. And then you could bring your hands around the feet if that's accessible. If it isn't, then just continue with your hands on the ankles, taking a breath in to lift and rise, taking a breath out to stretch through into the inner thighs, the outer edges of your hips. And if you'd like to just include a little bit of a further fold in there, then you can start to exhale and think about lowering your heart in the direction, maybe even thinking about the direction slightly ahead of your feet, so you still have this length in your spine. And at a certain point, releasing a little further into that shape, allowing the exhalations to release you into that space. And again, some of you may have the flexibility here to take your head all the way down towards the ground, and that's wonderful. But for those of you who are like me and your head is lifted, then it's working within your own range of what feels useful for you in this moment. And then taking a breath in and lifting, stretch your legs out in front of you. A little bit of core support to lower yourself down, so you're keeping yourself lifted, the legs are extended out, and then slowly lower yourself down with the idea that our core is releasing us down gradually, a little bit shaky perhaps, until the shoulders find the ground, and then we can relax through the back of the body. Sigh the breath out. Release down through towards the earth once again. And just allow your practice to be absorbed. What is it that you notice on the left side of your body, on the right side of your body. What is it you are aware of across the front of your body as you breathe into the space above you? And what is it that you sense through the back of the body as you exhale towards the ground, towards the earth beneath you? Come back to the sound of your breathing, just very softly whispering in and out through your nostrils. Just let this be the focus of your awareness now for the next few moments as you allow your body to relax. Your body regathers itself. And with each inhale, think of it nourishing your entire system, your physical body, your energetic body through your breath, your emotional and mental body, and your thoughts and mind's activities. And then as you exhale, there is this cleansing quality of the breath that just enables you to let go. So you're welcome to stay here for as long as you wish. I'm going to rise slowly, and I'll just continue to take you through that pattern of breathing for a few more moments. So with your inhalations, just be aware of a nourishing quality of the breath. Perhaps there is a sense of opening that arises with the inhalations. And with the exhalation, a cleansing quality, an opportunity for you to relax and let go of effort, let go of unnecessary effort, so that when the in-breath comes, there is this quality of space, quality of openness. Perhaps a clarity arises as a result. And then on the exhale, cleansing, releasing down, letting go. Okay, so I'd love to stay here longer with you, but when you're ready, let's just take our time to come up. Gradually, mindfully, just finding a seated practice, a seated position in your own time, bringing your hands over the heart. Just take a few moments to really tune in, notice how you feel, notice how you feel in your body, notice your connection to your breath, this healing, soothing, energizing friend that we can connect to whenever we need to. And then that sense of clarity, sense of focus, what has arisen as a result of your practice. And I'd love to know if you'd like to just pop it in the comments. It would be great to hear almost your response in reflection. So thank you so much for joining me.